Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and the 2028 presidential picture, it's getting a lot clearer. Before we get started, please make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. You know, the first contenders for the Republican nomination, well, I think one's not going to be a surprise. It's going to be J.D. Vance. I think that's good money on that. But the second may surprise you because I believe, and Mark Halpern believes, he's a political analyst, that it's going to be none other than Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And a lot of people are putting a lot of pressure on, are these two going to battle, right? Are these two going to duke it out in the primaries to see who gets the nomination? Now, Vance just said recently he doesn't think he's entitled to the nomination, that he should have to go through the process like everybody else. You know, unlike former Vice President Kamala Harris, that he should have to win the primary elections. Thing is, if Trump and Vance have a really good term, well, then it could really hurt a Republican to run against him. It could damage their stock, because you don't want to run against somebody who's so popular they're going to really sweep the thing and make you look silly. Now, I think Marco Rubio, I hold him in such high regard. I think he's an absolute brilliant man, brilliant when it comes to politics. I think he has all the tools to be president of the United States. And Mark Halpern, who is he's a better political analyst than me, in my opinion. He's been doing it longer. But we came to the same conclusion. And I don't think it's a giant leap here. He called it a preordained ticket. I tend to agree with him that it's probably going to be J.D. Vance with a vice presidential pick of Marco Rubio. And frankly, I don't think the Democrats have anything to stop that. I could see it going from Trump to Vance, 8 years of Vance, and then Rubio. I could actually see that happening because the Democrats have messed up so bad, especially on cultural issues, that there may be no coming back from this for a generation for them. And so I would love to see that. Trump to Vance to Rubio, that would be fantastic. And Rubio's stock has really risen since he's joined the Trump administration. Trump loves him. I've always loved him. I've loved him since way back before he was ever running for president. I thought he was great. So this is really good news for all involved, in my opinion. I do want you guys to watch Mr. Halpern here, and then let me know what you think in the comments.
Right. I would point out that exchange about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Rubio described him as a gangbanger and a human trafficker. You could also add wife beater to that list in addition to being an illegal immigrant. You had Van Hollen jump in, almost defending Garcia, saying that's unsubstantiated. I would argue that it actually is substantiated over multiple courses of due process in recent years, and Rubio was, I think, more than willing to lean into that argument.
Here's a few more Q&As with the lawmakers and Secretary Rubio.
Is it still the policy that they cannot be allowed to enrich at all in Iran?
These are ongoing, I hope to be ongoing negotiations, because the alternative would be far worse, in my view, but maybe necessary. But we hope that we can reach an agreement with Iran.
Do you support that sanctions bill?
Look, it may come to that point. If, in fact, it is clear that the Russians are not interested in a peace deal and they just want to keep fighting a war, it may very well come to that point.
How do you envision a transition to a non-Hamas security and governance?
We've obviously engaged with our regional partners to come up with the constructs of what that looks like.
Mark, his stock has gone up, I think, in the president's eyes as he's talked about him and inside the cabinet.
Yeah, you know, when he was back in the Florida legislature, he was tagged as someone destined for, you know, a national profile. And his presidential campaign disappointed his supporters. But he is just one of the stars of this administration. Even if you don't agree with his policies, his knowledge of policy, his knowledge, his rhetoric, his confidence, and his winning over MAGA. He went a rough spell with MAGA over immigration, and now he is one of the heroes of the movement. And I said earlier today, I'll say it again, I really do think J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio could end up being a preordained ticket in 2028, unlike we've ever seen before.
The question is, Amy, who's on top?